This show is proudly supported by Habitats at Home, Australia's leading PVC reptile enclosure specialist. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook at Habitats at Home, and be sure to visit habitatsathome.com.au if you're in the market for a new PVC reptile enclosure or other reptile accessories. Massive thanks to Tyson over at Habitats at Home. We'd like to thank our podcast sponsor, Veranabay, reimagining reptile keeping through innovation. They combine quality, design, and function to create high-end 3D printed reptile products. And if you've got a unique setup or problem, they'll craft a custom solution made just for you. Check them out on Instagram at Veranabay. This show is proudly supported by Dan from Red Earth Reptiles. If you want to drool over some of the best looking green tree pythons in the country, check out Dan on Instagram at red_earth_reptiles. G'day and welcome to ChatGTP. I'm here with the one and only Mr. Red Earth Reptiles. Dan, how are you?
Good, mate. It's a very early morning, isn't it?
Isn't
We're
it?
here.
I've just heard a lawnmower or something start up.
Right.
So it's an early
Right.
Saturday morning.
And why is it, I'm even drinking coffee here, so why is it an early Saturday morning, Joe? Like, we've got guests, international guests, should we say?
Yes, and from two very different time zones. So we've had to be accommodating. It's late night for one. One of them's got it easy. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. We can only guess what country that is.
we always do these like intros where we're like trying to allude to like who the guests are, but it's in the fucking title of the podcast.
Yes,
so it's
that's
no secret. But
yeah.
Before we get too carried away, Dan, I wanted to say thank you again for having myself and Gwen around to your house last weekend.
It was fun. It was so nice.
Hospitality, fantastic. Snakes, next level. Mind-blowing.
Oh.
Those Neos are ridiculous, and I'm self-conscious of the size of mine now because your Neos are massive.
Well, thank you. We loved having you around, and my daughter wasn't here long enough, but if she was a bit here longer, I think your partner, Gwen, would have been probably taken away,
locked in the house somewhere.
Yeah, she thought she was awesome. So
yeah,
so you didn't get much of a gig there, mate. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'll take what I can get. So it's all good. I'll stay in the shed at your place. That's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's good here.
Anything new on your end? Anything exciting happening? I know the Chondro gods are listening. So
yeah, nothing. One exciting thing, but that's it.
Yeah, one exciting thing is better than zero exciting things.
That's true.
I have an exciting thing. It's just here, wherever that is. I think I've had a fabled one and done. They made it on May 18th, which is like 6 or 7 weeks ago. And a few days ago, she refused a meal. And that's it. It's by far the earliest I've seen matings. This little mustard guy up here just got in and got the job done, and I guess one was enough for him, and he just went, "No, I'm sweet. She's good." They've literally sat at opposite ends of the perch. I've paired, I've removed, I've paired, removed, fed, done all sorts of things, ramped up the feeding for her even a little bit more, and yeah, I guess all of a sudden she actually is looking really big right now. I was like,
Great.
It's the same rigmarole we go through. I've been in my head. I'm like, oh, is she big? I'm not sure if she's big. I wish they would mate more. They're not mating. What the fuck? But yeah, she refused a meal. I just went and bought a bunch of rats because I was like, I'll get some more rats into her, and I bought them, and now she won't eat them. So at least they're frozen. So
well, that sounds excellent. Yeah, I wish I could say the same. I'm sort of having another. Is this the first time I've ever bred snakes? Yeah, but anyway, we'll see how we go.
It's not.
I think I'm a bit later this year.
Snakes. Yeah,
no, that's true.
Interesting. Anyway, I think I'm a bit earlier, and if my calculations are anywhere near accurate, I'm going to be out of town and out of service for when she lays eggs, which is just perfect.
Yep, great.
Yeah. Thank God it's a joint pairing with Aaron Hopper, so he has just as much invested in it as I do, so he can be here and check on her every day. But
nice.
We've got Sal and Alex today. I'm very excited for a bit of cross-pollination and to see, learn a bit more about these guys.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, let's just bring them on, hey? No point mucking around. Alex, you're there now, I believe, anyway. And here's Sal.
Good day, boys.
G'day, mates.
G'day. Oh,
How
I
you
guess
going,
Alex
Sal?
can't hear us.
I
can hear you.
can't see Alex. I can just see a black box.
Oh, that's super bizarre, man. Let me just remove him and bring him back in. Technology. I think this is our first 4-person podcast anyway, so it
Yeah.
wasn't going to go that smoothly.
It's true.
It happens.
How you going, Sal? What's the weather like there in beautiful England?
Boys, it is horrific. It is a heat wave at the moment.
Oh,
For you
really?
guys, it's probably nothing, right? But like, I've got the air conditioning running 24/7 at the moment. It's like the highest
Wow.
it's been is 38 degrees, which for you is nothing. But
38, that's
Wow.
not nothing.
No, that's high.
yeah, I am dying here. I've got the aircon running
You got us,
constantly.
Alex?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
he's here.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And Sal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited. But
Thanks very
Sal,
much,
I'm
boys.
curious. What are the overnight temperatures getting down to?
20 at the moment.
Yeah,
Oh
wow.
yeah, that's still pretty warm.
Yeah, so I've got the aircon running at night, especially to bring my temps down, because I've got some breeding action going at the moment and keeping the animals cool. And I live by the aircon now because a few years ago I didn't have one, and we got up to 42 degrees at the time. It was like a record breaking for like 30 years. And at the time, my most prized designer animal, first one ever, dropped dead because I didn't have an aircon. Yeah, so
It's an interesting point, Sal. I know that where I live, it's really volatile weather. We get cyclones, hurricanes for you, Alex, and we can be without power. Usually that happens, when I'm incubating eggs, and so we've got you have to have all these mitigating strategies, particularly around air conditioning and backup power, particularly.
Yep.
I just invested in a whole, really large battery because we get so much sun here. We can have big battery pack units, which has
Yep.
given me now a full house UPS, which is fantastic. And
Yeah.
the benefit is that my incubators won't go off and all that sort of stuff. So, but it's it's something a lot of people don't think about. Is that you just get a couple of snakes, stick them in a box, but you got to think about, okay, what about all these mitigating? How are you going to mitigate the risk of your collection, especially when it gets sizable and you invest a lot of money?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
When you've got a whole room.
The heat is such a big one too. I think for the layperson, they're like, oh, reptiles love the heat. They don't. You sit these green pythons at 35 degrees for a day, they are,
Cool.
you are in trouble. And yeah, as Dan said, once you've invested a lot of money into it, what's $2 or $3 grand for an aircon?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Joe. I struggle with that. I'm such a tight ass. Like, I'm like, I don't want to spend $3 grand on an air conditioning system.
Don't worry, Alex is the same. Alex is the same. Don't worry.
Are you the same, Alex? I feel like I want to do things as what economical as possible. In other words, as cheap as possible.
Bill is my backup. If anything happens, I just pack up the snakes and bring them over there.
Yeah, fair.
It's nice having that. Yeah, I've done the same. I got a battery pack for these guys, and I got a reef tank. So more importantly for that than these, unless it's winter and it's super cold, then these guys will need heat. But if I had a loss of heat now, a loss of power, I probably could cool it and I'll be fine for a day or two. But the reef tank would die. It would start dying within a few hours. So
yeah.
So you're running a chiller?
No, I don't run a chiller. And now I'm gonna learn from this mistake too.
Yeah.
I don't run a chiller. I lost a couple torch corals last week or week before. Came in, they had brown slime, for anyone that knows, and that taught me a lesson. Luckily, it weren't the expensive ones, but I'm gonna go and get a chiller definitely.
Man, my background before reptiles was in aquariums, and I work at an aquarium now. And I like reptiles because with reptiles you can get a bit more money coming in. You can breed things. I mean, if you're lucky with it, you can get some money in. With reef tanks, you may as well flush that money down the toilet.
Burn it.
Just put the cash straight into a fire or an incinerator.
It's like owning a boat.
It is gone.
Yeah. Alex has one too. He has one
Yeah.
too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I just got my 60-gallon cube set up and ready to go, and just put a pair of clownfish in there and just slowly kind of working it. You know, I've dabbled in it here and there over the years. Actually, going back to what we were talking about earlier, when the 2021 snowstorm hit here in Texas, I lost power for 4 or 5 days, and that killed my reef tank. You know, I packed up the snakes and took them to Bill's, but the reef tank was just dead. It died within a day or two. So recently got
Oof.
back into it though.
Yeah.
I think reef keeping does that to people. They'll have an experience and they'll go, nah, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of it.
I did.
Yeah.
And then
That's what happened to
2,
me.
3, 4, 5 years later,
Yeah.
I'll do it
That's,
again.
honestly, I was reefing for years, way before chondros, way before. And I remember I had a display tank that I probably pumped tens of thousands into, right? And it looked beautiful. I was so happy with it. And then I went and got a rogue fish that started fighting one of my tangs. And then it just, next morning I woke up and it just white spot ick everywhere.
Oh.
And then I tried to start fighting it with copper and taking them to pet stores to be quarantined, and then fighting the system. And in the end, I was just like, I'm done with this. And then I had like a 10-year break or 8-year break. And then I went to Texas last year and I saw Alex's cube again. And he's been there every year I go. And when we started, then me and him started dabbling and watching YouTube videos about reef keeping again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually give this a go when I get back. And then I just got back and started setting one up in October again. And here comes the burning of money all over again. So we'll see how it goes.
It's a bug.
It's such a you wouldn't believe the amount of guests we've had on that have either had an aquarium background who have got into green trees or continue it in parallel. It's quite interesting.
It's weird how similar they are. Bill used to have a reef tank as well. I don't know if you knew that, Sal.
Did he? Oh, shit.
He had a reef tank for about 10 years.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's funny how all that stuff just goes hand in hand. It's a very meticulous thing, right? Green tree keepers are very meticulous, reef keepers are very meticulous, and they're both like vibrant, beautiful animals. So I can kind of see the similarities.
I think if you can do a reef, I know it's not about reefing, so I'm going to close it off, but if you can keep a reef going, and because I'm constantly measuring alkalinity, the magnesium, the calcium, dosing systems are running, and you got to keep up on so many things and so many needs for different SPS, for LPS. And if you can keep that going, chondros will be a breeze. So I tend to find.
I thought you were going to say you could raise children.
Yeah, all that. But exactly what Alex said, I tend to find the people that done well in reefing and they've got like a chondros ongoing now, you can see that it's like a skill that can be transferred over, definitely.
Yeah. Well, chondros is a walk in the park compared to keeping a reef tank. I mean, it's night and day, to be honest. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Well, boys, I've come to the realization that we might have some listeners who may be unfamiliar with you two. So I guess 12 minutes in might be a good time. Just to maybe a brief intro. Alex, if you wouldn't mind going first, maybe just let us know when you got your first green python, how long you've been keeping them for now, and then what your capacity is with green pythons these days.
Sure. So I got my first green tree python in September of 2019, and I got it at a local reptile show here, the NARBC here in Texas. And I was pretty much immediately hooked from that point. You know, I'd been keeping snakes for about 10 years, about 9 or 10 years. And I didn't care about breeding them. And I got my first green tree and I said, I want to make more of these. And then I started doing research, and that's when I found Bill Stiegel and the sickness. And I was like, I saw the sickness, and that's what hooked me. I was like, I want that. That's what I need. So I saw that he was in my area. And so I reached out to Bill and went over to his house, just kind of looked around. I didn't want any of his snakes or anything. I just wanted to look around. I saw the sickness and I saw a bunch of other stuff. And, you know, I'd asked him if he needed any volunteers. And he said, you know, kind of, we'll see. He had been asked that before. But, you know, a few weeks went by and he asked if I wanted to come feed some ball pythons with him. So I did. And eventually, you know, rolled on to where we are today. And me and Bill of Phoenix Reptiles are pretty hand in hand, I would say. Like we have a lot of pairings together. I go over there all the time. I was there today. I feel like people now kind of know of me and Bill as a duo. So as far as my own collection, I actually went through and counted the other day. I have 65 chondros, but that's including neonates and holdbacks, adults, subadults, things I'm selling. That's everything. So,
Oh,
and
wow.
that consists of mainly higher end designers, but there are pretty much a whole array of things in there. There are import Beox to the highest end designer that you can possibly get. So there's a whole hodgepodge of things in there, and I like to breed them all. I mainly focus on red neonates, and high blue and high black is what I'm really going for. So hope that
Hell yeah.
answered it.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, I really appreciate that you have that sort of spectrum of animals. Like, from what I've heard about the things you do, you'll buy some shit off Craigslist, and then do that sort of thing, but then work with the high end stuff as well. I think it's really cool. I think it's important to have that sort of
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing to do is
duality, I
breed
guess.
the high end stuff to the Craigslist stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it works out really well. I do like to have high end pairings too, but I try to kind of keep my females on the lower end because they take the most risk. So I want my high end males to my low end females, and then I'll make my own high end females eventually.
Right. All right, Sal.
Mine's not too far off with how I got into it, but with the whole the sickness video. But I started working in a pet store at 13, and then got addicted to reptiles and kept lizards and most of the other stuff other than chondros at the time because you couldn't really afford them at that age. And then finally got into them in 2015 when I first got my first sarong, yellow neonate, and done the whole Exoterra thing. And then I think from there, that's when I started dabbling and looking online and saw that Brian Barczyk video with Bill and the sickness and the whole collection tour many, many years ago. And that's when it just started like spiraling, looking online, looking at designer animals. And then I would say about 5 or 6 years ago is when I started going heavily into buying a lot of animals in one hit. That first year, about 6 years ago, I couldn't stop. I think I bought 15 in 1 year. And now I have a mixture of designer stuff from Europe, designer stuff, only ones in the UK and Europe are from USA, from Bill. And I have some import stuff that I've grown on, some wild caught Biak stuff. And yeah, just dabbling with a different mixture of all different lineages of stuff at the moment, and really take pride in what I've got in the UK and what I've built up slowly in comparison to what we can get and what we have available. And I'd say main collection with grow-ons like sub-adults and adults, there's about 40 in this room. And then with neonates, probably about 15. So about 55 all in at the moment. This year is going to be probably my biggest year, hopefully, touch wood, if the chondro gods allow. So I'm hoping for 5 or 6 females to go this year. And then I probably will have to start another room for holdbacks.
Can get pretty crazy, huh? I think that you guys both kind of are pretty much prime examples of guys who have, started in the hobby and then literally just let it take a hold, find yourself a good mentor and then build the collection up to what it is today. And I know Dan really wants to talk about the mentor side of things because, it's an ever-growing hobby and it's not the easiest one to sort of break into. And I can tell you for damn sure, I wouldn't talk to half of the reptile people that I do if I didn't have this podcast. It is quite a tricky thing to sort of break into it. So Dan, did you want to chat about the mentor side of things to see how that goes?
You put me on the spot here, Joe. I was sort of sitting there thinking it's very early in the morning and I need another coffee. But yeah, I know for me, when you turned up, Alex, at Bill's house and you're sort of, how old would you have been then? Probably 12.
I was 25 when I met Bill.
Oh my gosh, look at you. You're so youthful looking.
Spring
For those on
chicken.
Yeah.
Spotify, he's a very youthful looking man. He's, so, like you've turned up and like, I know for me, I think Joe, you've come around and we've mentioned that you're probably one of the very few people that I've had in my collection. It takes a lot for people to come over. You got trust people, and then to go to that next step, in terms of, hey, I'm going to trust you to come along and help me out. And because I think a lot of us, it's a single pursuit, right? We do it for our own purposes. We like things a certain way. There's probably a new part of the spectrum called green tree python keepers. We might be actually able to get funding for that. If we get diagnosed with green tree python keeping. And so, it's just something happens, right? I know for you, Alex, and for you, Sal, it doesn't work always. You're going to meet that person and then something clicks. It's an intangible thing. For me, it's like, how did you guys go through and sort of like almost like win the trust of your mentors? Like how did that process happen? Because you said, oh, you turned up. You said, oh, do you want to feed some ball pythons? I'm kind of laughing at that, Alex, because it's like,
Yeah.
that would be me saying, oh yeah, do you want to come over and maybe feed my dogs?
Yeah,
and
it's a good question. It's a really good question. Sal, you go ahead and answer it first.
Okay.
Fine. That's called delegation, Sal.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
know. I know. So for me, it was very natural. My mentor's Malcolm, and I bumped into Malcolm initially. I had purchased a snake off of someone, a Vinsky female, from a guy that was closing his collection down. Sorry, and I took this thing home. At the time, it was probably the first designer. At the time, I didn't even know what a Vinsky was. I thought it was just a locality animal. Anyway, I purchased it because it was 2 years old. This thing wouldn't eat, and no one would help me, including the guy that I purchased it off. He was just saying, just feed it, it'll eat. And this thing will refuse for 6 months. It wouldn't eat.
Wow.
And he sent me the digital ID card for Reptile Scan or whatever app it was at the time. And I saw the breeder code on there. It said Malcolm Dick. So I thought, right, I'll reach out to this guy and, see if he can help me. And which he did. He was like, try this, try that. And it worked. And then that was really it. And then he produced, so he had a snake from the barn from Christian Stewart. He bred that to another animal, another Vinsky line female. And I really wanted to get into, at this point now, blue stuff, right? And that was the best blue animal from blue lineage in the UK. So I hit him up and was like, look, I'm interested, etc. And I said, is it eating well? Because I was at the time, that's just something I would always ask because I just didn't know. And all I was installed with is these things don't eat, they're fussy eaters, etc. So you were kind of scared to buy something for that price tag. And he just said to me, why don't you come around and feed it yourself? So then I just jumped in the car the next day, drove 3 hours to his house, fed the animal there and then we got talking, etc. I put a deposit down. I spent maybe 2-3 hours there at minimum. And then going forward from there, I think the fact to me, and this is based on what his wife says as well, Lisa, she's lovely. They're like family to me now, right? They took me under their wing. I go around there, spend time, barbecues with their kids, their family. I go down, we don't even look at snakes half the time anymore, right? And the main thing I remember her saying to me was, the difference between you and everyone else that he has helped previous to you is that you show up. You don't have an ulterior motive. You don't come here trying to gain anything. You come here to spend your time because you enjoy his company, you respect his knowledge, and you want to learn. There's no, can we do a pairing? Can you give me a discount? Can you do this for me? Like it just naturally clicked. And we had so many other mutual interests. Like he's got a reef tank and we have such mutual interests. It just clicked. So I just started going up there a lot. Then I ended up speaking to him I used to work night shifts. So I used to then speak to him 2 hours a day. We'd be on the phone talking about stuff or every other day. And I remember at the time, my mum or my partner at the time used to be like, you speak more to Malcolm than you speak to any of us. Like, and it just naturally grew. And now he comes to me, I go to him. We're 2 hours apart, but it feels like nothing. When I'm driving now, I go there, I spend the whole day there. We go out, we just, it was just a natural click, a natural bond on both sides. There was no ulterior motive. There was nothing to gain. It was just, I wanted to learn. I wanted to, absorb everything I could, but not because I had a plan with that knowledge. I just wanted to be able to keep these animals and be able to succeed in just keeping. There was no thoughts of breeding and I want to pair this and I want to do that. I didn't have any. I had about 3 snakes at the time, and we just clicked, and it works. We have a great relationship.
Yeah, so it's funny, isn't it, when you look back, the bad experience you had at the beginning kind of led you down this path. If it was all tickety-boo, you'd just be like, you'd still be probably wherever you are with your 3 snakes,
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty interesting. But I think for me, it comes to this, is that you had that mentality to sort of work out, okay, I've got a problem. I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
And for you to be going onto the reptile scan card and looking, having that sort of level of detail and saying, oh, okay, this is the breeder. This guy's got to know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it did. He told me what to do, and it ate that night. That thing had not eaten for 6 months. And I remember him saying to me, this snake was fussy from the day it hatched. He was like, try this, cover the front with newspaper, let her sit in a really dark space, turn the lights off for a week, offer her, she likes the head to be boiling hot, dip it in kettle water, make sure it's raging hot. She likes a rat over a mouse, and she likes smaller prey. And I just offered it, bang, done.
Yeah, right. And it's so interesting I think for the listeners, it's we know our animals intimately. You raise 15 Neos, you kind of, you'll remember one like that because you'll be glad to sell it.
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, oh, that animal, you got it. Oh dear. That's probably why he's probably feeling guilty, Sal. He had to feel like he had to help you out.
Right.
But I think that's UK is probably a bit like us. It's a very small community and there's very few people doing it. And what you didn't do is you didn't go plaster it all over Facebook either and ask every man and his dog what they thought.
To be destroyed.
Yeah. And so I think it's cool. It's cool too that he even wanted to give you the time as well. I think that's rare as well. If you've got a snake that it's been on-sold to someone that's 2 hours away and they're contacting you, you're probably, your level of desire as a breeder to actually help that person after 2 years may be pretty low.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's I think that you are essentially building a relationship with someone, and just with any relationship, the chemistry has to be there to actually just get along with the person as well. And Dan, like you just mentioned just then, it takes someone also willing to engage as well in offering assistance. So, there's a few things that sort of have to line up to get into, to have that relationship with someone such as both you, Alex, and Sal have with both your mentors. It's it's an intimate thing. I think it's a special thing, and to have it is awesome. And for someone who's out there trying to find that mentor, it can be a pretty challenging thing to do.
I think for those on the other side, like this is, the neonates that were produced last year, there's 5 years and 5 to 10 years in the future are going to be the mainstay of your collection, right? And so this is a really long-term, but particularly for us because we can't buy imports, it's a really long-term pursuit. And, not to get too morbid, but I just did all my wills. And one of the things in there was like, what am I going to do with this collection? Because my kids aren't necessarily super excited by them. They've got no real, there he is. My other child over there. And it's like, okay, this is, if I'm as successful as I want to be in 10 years' time, this is going to be a pretty special collection, I would hope.
Absolutely.
And what's the legacy going to be? We talk about you guys with your lineage, and you look back and you see the TW back in, from the 90s or even further back.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one day, for me, I'm hoping there'll be a DZ in that lineage for somebody. Yeah. So, these are close to our hearts, and so for Bill, I imagine, Alex, it'd be great to have you on board, because as he thinks about the next stage in his life, because we can't do this forever. What's going to happen to his
Yeah.
collection? Where's it gonna go? But
Yeah.
I've got way too far ahead. We should just go back and
No,
ask you,
you're good.
Alex.
That's actually the perfect segue, because I was gonna say, when I came into Bill's life, or really we came into each other's life, we came in at almost the exact perfect time for both of us, because Bill was already kind of thinking about the out. And, like, he had just retired from being an anesthesiologist at that time. And so he was wondering, like, kind of what the next step is. And then I came along and I wanted a mentor. And, I found Bill, and Bill didn't know this, but he was going to be my mentor, whether he liked it or not. I was going to show up. I was going to show up to his house regardless of him wanting me there. I was going to, it was going to happen. But how I kind of worked my way in a little bit was, I own a mobile dog grooming company, and at the time he had a dog. And so I was like, let me groom your dog. I'll give you a good price. So that's kind of how I worked my way in a little bit, even before I fed ball pythons with them.
That's right.
Um,
And it's like, Alex,
like,
the dogs are already being washed 3 times today.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, he could have asked me to wash his car. I would have done it.
Yeah.
If I didn't want his snakes, I didn't want his money or what. I just wanted his knowledge. That's what I wanted out of that relationship. I wanted his phone number in my phone, because I knew that everything else would come with time. So that's kind of, I think he saw that. I think he over time, not immediately, but over time, he eventually started seeing that I was serious about this, because I had one green tree whenever I met Bill, and now I have 65. So it's he saw the evolution over time, and you really have to prove yourself. You have to show up whenever you say you're going to show up, and you have to be serious about it. I think in the 6 years that I've been going to Bill's, I've told him I can't come maybe once.
Yeah.
And this is twice a week. This is every Monday and Friday that I go over there. And Bill has already said that, if it was not for me helping him out, he probably would have already kind of not maybe stepped down, but the production wouldn't be where it's at right now.
Yeah.
So, it's a very symbiotic relationship between me and him, and he's kind of sort of ready to pass on the torch. He's not there yet, but it is getting there at some point within the next handful of years, most likely. And I'm ready whenever. Like, this is, I pretty much already do this full time. So I'm kind of like, let's go. I'm still waiting on those ball pythons to go so I can move my collection in there. And
Yeah.
once my collection's in there, it's pretty much game over. That's like, I'll be going over there all the time, and I'll just be taking care of stuff, and the Neos will be here, and I'll be doing stuff, not 100%, but very close to it. So, yeah,
it's an interesting sort of thought process to sort of put yourself in that sort of towards that part of your life and think, okay, as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I think I'd be on my knees in here with no animals in this room, in tears, once they've all gone. Or I think I can't imagine it, actually.
yeah,
I think it becomes such an integral part of all of our lives. Once you start becoming a keeper and then a breeder, and then you start having half a room or half your bedroom, and then it evolves into a room, and then it grows. It just becomes a part of your normal day-to-day life. I couldn't imagine coming home and not coming in here every day. I'd think I'd feel lost.
Yeah.
yeah. What would you do with your time?
I know,
if say you did not have any snakes, what on earth would you do with your time?
Oh, my wife would just have me looking at her longingly for hours. That's what I would be. That would be my full-time job, and she would love it. Maybe she could sit on a
Thank
perch.
God you have the snakes, man.
I could put her on a perch up here, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Oh dear. Let's hope she doesn't listen to this.
Alex,
yeah,
I think no, go ahead, Dan.
You go, Joe. No, I had
Okay.
nothing. I had nothing.
I was just going to say, Alex, it seems like just in your pursuit to have Bill as a mentor, you really exhibited patience and persistence, which is sort of they're both virtues, really, and that's probably. I imagine you've carried those sorts of views into your green python keeping, and that, like, I'm trying to say those things align. Patience and persistence align with both. Fucking just anything in life, man. If you want to make something happen,
Yeah.
be patient and
Yeah.
persistent, and you'll get
Yeah,
there.
particularly in a world where everything is so, I want it now.
Yeah.
Instant
I've
gratification.
been in the job for 12 months and now I want to be the manager sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there's so much of that. We've spoken about this on another episode that we had, and you sort of have this, you've got this idea of you want to breed your snakes, you want to pair them, you want to keep your holdbacks, and all of a sudden you find yourself with quite a large collection. And for me, I keep a ton of rodents as well.
Uh-huh.
And so every time I think about going away for a week, 2 weeks, like, it's a big deal. Like, I sit there thinking, oh man, what am I like? Snakes are easy in some ways. You can time all that, and you can sort of leave them be for a couple of weeks, really, if you had to.
Yeah.
But when you've got sizable rodent colonies, when you got to clean those bloody things out twice a week, that becomes a whole other issue. And if you've got nobody to rely on that you trust, it is it can be a challenge. And the other thing we were talking about as well is, so you build this collection up. Most people have limited space. They're living in a 3-bedroom house, what have you, and they've got 1 bedroom dedicated to it. The balance with your personal relationships, so you've got this this pursuit with your reptiles. They take up space. And you find yourself in a relationship, and that relationship is moving in a particular direction. And you start thinking about children and all these other things. It's this real balance to be able to maintain your collection through your life journey. How have you guys sort of found that? I don't know where you're at with your relationship statuses, but how do you balance the demands? You got 65 animals, Alex. That's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility and care for those animals. How do you manage all this?
Well, it helps doing this mainly full time. So I have, this is pretty much, it's my job to make sure that they're good. That's a pretty good question as far as like the vacation goes. Because as I was talking to you guys earlier, sorry, about me coming to Australia here in a couple weeks. I mean, in November for a couple weeks. I as well have some rodents, and I pretty much got everything else taken care of, but the rodents are like the one thing that I'm like, all right, who's gonna do the rodents? Because we know damn well Bill ain't doing the rodents. So I'm still trying to figure that out. The snakes, it's kind of like you just work it's just like a regular job. Like, how do you work your regular life around your regular job? You figure it out, and it's actually a lot easier because I'm not on somebody else's time with the snakes. I can do this and then go do something else and do this and, come back and work around them a lot easier than it would be a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I actually consider myself very lucky to be able to do something like that because they're so lenient for that kind of thing.
I was going to say, Alex, that's a very rare and privileged position to be in. It's very unlikely that you could do snakes full time in Australia. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Right.
That you couldn't do
Totally.
green trees full time.
There may be a small handful of people that breed reptiles full time in Australia, and they are breeding like hundreds of clutches. Tricky thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very blessed to have the market that I have here in the U.S. to be able to do this. Not only the market, but the animals themselves are amazing to work with as well.
Yep.
So yeah, it's I think that your collection should reflect your time management as well. If you don't have that much time, then you shouldn't have a big collection, and that seems like it would go without saying, but some people don't know that. I think, yeah, exactly, Sal. Sal's got a lot of animals, and he's got a full-time job. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be curious to what he says about this,
Yeah.
but because it really is, I'm very much in a unique position to where I'm able to give a lot of time to these animals and not have to worry about it too much. So,
Alex has
so
got
yeah.
it easy. Sal, how do you do it?
Well, it's hard. The last couple of years have been easier due to my role changing, but I probably work 50, 60 hours a week. I'm on call 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. My job doesn't close. We're open every day. And for me, I'm first point of call. I manage veterinary clinics, right? So
Yeah.
that's my job. So it doesn't matter. Our business doesn't close. People turn up at 3 o'clock in the morning when the dog's been hit by a car, Christmas Day. It doesn't matter. So for me, juggling that, now that I manage clinics, instead of working clinically on the floor like I used to, because I now manage clinics, life's got a little bit easier. So as in the hours are long, but I have a bit more freedom. So when I'm having things breeding or I'm watching things on camera dropping clutches, I have that freedom to leave work when I want and turn up late. So that helps a little bit. Previously, in my previous roles working clinically, it was shift work. So if she was laying eggs and I'm at work and I got 7 hours, I'm waiting 7 hours. So that really does help, but it takes a lot of time. I think the way my setup is at the moment really helps, the puppy pad stuff and the ease of cleaning and streamlining stuff. I used to have 150 ball pythons 3 years ago as well. And that tipped me over the edge. Cleaning and looking after those things in comparison, I could do my whole room in about an hour, hour and a half. That's me cleaning, gutting, wiping, water changes, everything, one hit, call it a day. But before it'd take me all day. It'd be an all-day operation, changing the substrates, and it was too much. I'm very lucky enough to have a really understanding partner who also works in the same field. We work together. So she loves the animals. She's intrigued by the snakes. She comes in and helps. Even tonight, I was feeding, and she was like, "Well, you can start on one wall, and I'll do the whole backs on the other wall." Um, or like when I was in Texas last year, she didn't come with me, but she was at home. We went for a whole operation of weeks of teaching her how to clean and how to feed. She fed the neos while I was away. That was her first time ever doing it, and I think having a trusting and understanding partner also it helps. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's very tiring. 60 hours plus the snakes plus life. But I also find that I have dips and troughs. I find that between I would say between May and September, my breeding season starting. I'm more excited. I'm into it. You'll see me posting more online. I'll be putting up stories, putting up reels. I get to Texas, I come back, and I breed for another month or two. But then between the months of end of November and May again, you'll probably see me. My Instagram's also seasonal. I probably won't post as much. It's shit weather. You don't get the snakes out. There's no natural sunlight. I can't take videos. I don't really like taking in cage pictures because they look terrible. So then I find between those times, I'm kind of autopilot. Still do my maintenance. Still love the snakes. I'm just not present. I'm not on all over social media. I'm just doing my thing every day, doing my maintenance. But yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. I would love to do it full time one day, but my plan is we don't have a family yet, and we plan on starting one very soon. But our plan is to start that once I get to Texas. So we're waiting for her to finish. We're waiting for her to finish her degree, and then once the degree finishes, we're gonna go and live in Texas. And then because she likes to horse,
Yeah, right.
she has
Wow.
horses and she loves to horse ride, and that's her thing. So she'll be able to follow her hobbies over there. We could buy her a horse, buy her a few horses, whatever she wants. But it's just it works out really well, and we'll go over there and start family there.
Right. So
Sal,
your plan is to completely relocate to the US. How does all that work with the visas and stuff, Sal? Like, is
Yeah,
that an easy thing or is it a hard thing?
It will be. Luckily, because of jobs, we can get sponsorships from employees, go over there on a working
Nice.
visa, and then eventually get a permanent status there. I think the most
Wow.
stressful part is really packing everything away and shipping it over there. Like shipping 50, 60, 70
Yeah.
snakes is going to be a lot of
yeah,
work.
how the hell are the logistics in that gonna work?
It's just going to cost a lot of money, but
A lot of money, yeah.
it's gonna work out. I'm going to ship everything. I'm going to leave a few bits behind. Some of my I already made the plan. I spoke to Malcolm. Like some of my American animals, because I'm going to have more access over there to get this stuff more. I'm going to leave those behind for Malcolm. I want him to have those. So the American stuff more likely is going to stay. But
Sorry, I
all
was
the
just
Europe,
about to make that joke. You just bloody imported a whole bunch of snakes,
yeah, and
and
then
then you
go
got to
back
send
out
them
there,
all
yeah.
back. Yeah,
But then, but all the European line and everything else is going to go with me.
yeah. Wow.
It's just, you know, if I can pack everything up in one night, take them over to the shipper, they'll be in Texas in 10 hours. So it's all good.
Wow. And so that import-export stuff, does it not have to sit with importers or exporters for a certain period of time?
No, it's super easy now. They literally pick
Awesome.
up, yeah, and it goes to a middleman out in Florida, and then he will just ship it out straight to wherever I am. But the plan is to go there first, set up the house, leave Malcolm in charge of all the animals, set up the house, get the snake room ready, and then hit the button and tell Malcolm to send them all out.
Wow. I think, well, number one,
Crazy.
we couldn't do that. But even if we did, I think when people move to Australia and they might have a dog and they bring a dog to Australia, would this be right, Joe? I think that animal has to sit in quarantine for
You guys do. So we
3
ship
to 6 months or something?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we do a lot of paperwork to export to Australia, and do animal health certificates. And honestly, it is that New Zealand and China are the most difficult countries to do all the export paperwork on. But you guys have quite a long quarantine time over there. Yeah, it will sit in quarantine for about 3 months, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more difficult.
I've got a mate, this is kind of different, but I've got a mate who moved from Western Australia to Queensland with about 100 snakes, mostly elapids and things. And it's an $80 fee to export each snake. So it cost him $8,000 in paperwork, let alone actually sending the physical money to freight them over.
Yep. It's about the same.
Things we do for our animals.
It's not far off here. It's probably that much per CITES document per animal. And then you're looking at about 400 or 500 each to be shipped over.
So what I'm understanding, Sal, is you're fairly serious. You're fairly serious.
Fairly serious about it, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna take a lot of planning, and then I'm probably gonna cry when I have to pay that invoice.
Yeah. What is 400 or 500 times 50?
Yeah,
A lot. 25 grand.
25?
Wow.
Oh.
Pounds?
Yeah.
Pounds?
Pounds. Yeah.
That's $1 million Australian dollars.
Yeah.
That's wild. So you're going to be a big Englishman in Texas.
Yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, you guys can never make it out. I know it's far for you guys, but you guys, I pulled the trigger 3-4 years ago, and it is the best thing I ever done. Like, it's my yearly ritual. I have to go no matter what. The world could be ending. I could be dying. I will miss Trap Fest, but I will not miss Bill's party.
Sorry, MJ. Hey, Joe, there you go. That's the snip right there, Joe.
Sal, I've been to Texas. I drove through Texas in 2019. And you know what absolutely blew my mind in Texas? Buc-ee's. Just seriously, there he is. Man, we pulled up at a Buc-ee's and I was like, fuck me, this is extreme. What's like 100 Bowsers, and the shop inside is like, Dan, it's literally like a Bunnings, a Kmart, a BCF, all together under one roof.
6 stores in one.
Yeah, I'm like, I just want to pay for my fuel.
It's all full of guns.
Just want to pay for the fuel.
It's just all guns.
You pay for it at the pump, Joe.
You pay for the pump. We don't do that here. We don't do that.
It blew my mind. Honestly, people think like they all take the piss out of me for it, right? About this whole Buc-ee's love, and now it's just become it's just been a routine. I have to go there. I do love going there. But the first year going to Buc-ee's, and honestly, you walk in and you're just like, first of all, how many petrol pumps do you need? There's one of these every fucking 20 minutes on the highway, right? And it's like, you go in I was just a bit like, not overwhelmed, but just like, whoa, like this is our petrol stations, gas stations, our petrol stations are like 1/16 of this thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it's crazy.
The
Man,
crazy part is that most of those stations are full whenever you go there. There's 100 and there's 75 of them have cars in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
I was
it's sorry, Joe, I was going to say it's an
No.
interesting sort of cultural overlay that
yeah.
as you say, we maybe have our petrol stations might have 6 pumps, 7 pumps maybe
Yes,
on
yeah.
average.
Yeah.
And so, you've got this sort of larger than life overlay that's sort of it's an interesting cultural driver that sits underneath.
Yeah.
And in many ways it's somewhat counter keeping green tree pythons because they're not ball pythons where you can have hundreds and hundreds of them. And so, it's probably an interesting sort of cultural thing that's going on there. People want to buy your whole clutch, or they want to throw large sums of money at you, and they've never kept one. And also maybe, I don't know, Alex, if this is your experience, that you tell them to do it a certain way, but everyone knows better. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yes and no. Some people listen, some people don't.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mix of it. I would say generally the people that are spending more money, they tend to listen to you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Then because you always get like the people that are buying like a pure sarong or something that they're like, oh, I'm gonna put it in an Exoterra, and I'm like, okay, well, you can at a certain point, but when I first send it to you, can you set it up my way so that it eats a few times and then it's your snake, you can do whatever you want with it. But I want it, it's my job to make sure it at least eats for you a few times. After that, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And I think it's a universal human nature thing. I'm at a point now where if they can't show me a photo of the tub setup, then I'm not sending them that snake.
Yeah.
Because I'm done. I'm done with Exoterras and,
Yeah.
a photo of them in like a 2-meter glass tank with this little Neo stuck up the top on a branch. I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
I'm the same as you, bro. I will happily refuse sales, and I have recently, based on people saying, I've got the most recent one was, I've got a 3x3 enclosure that I haven't used in a while. I want the yellow Neo, and I'm going to put it into that enclosure. I'm like, no, you're not. And they're like, you can put in a tub, replicate, like exactly what Alex said, replicate what I'm doing, get that thing bulletproof at your place again, because it's going to be bulletproof when it leaves. And then you can do what you want with it, right? If you want to put it in a jam jar, I would recommend against it. But if that's what you're going to do, I've given you the best advice. And if you don't follow it, then that's not something I can enforce. But when they outwardly tell me they're going to do these things, I just refuse sales. I'm like, no, sorry. I'm not going to go through the struggles of what we all go through. Get this thing in and get this thing bulletproof for you to just take it and kill it. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we
Most
sort
of the
have
time it's a yellow Neo buyer.
Oh, come on.
You can't say that to Australian people, Alex.
Oh, right.
Well, no,
Right.
you probably can say it to Australian people because that's the only snakes we'd sell.
True. Yeah.
true.
Because no one's selling a red neonate very often.
Rare, super rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say. What was I going to say, Dan?
Look, I don't know, Joe. I'm not inside your head, thank goodness.
Thank goodness, it is a scary place. Yeah, I guess I that was dark.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh dear. I'm interested in hearing sort of what both of you, also obviously both of you being from different parts of the world, I guess what your opinions are on how things sort of appear to you in the Australian hobby. Like, do you guys see much of what goes on? And yeah, I guess, do you have much of an opinion on it at all? Maybe Sal?
Yeah. So look, I always saw Australian keepers and breeders when I first come into this, when I first started using Instagram, etc., and it grew. Obviously, you start following more and more people. And then last few years, I would say, I kind of started to connect pages with people. You start seeing more and more productions come out, and then you see you guys coming onto like the Trap Talk and people coming on slowly and putting faces to names. And then Paul came over to me about 18 months ago. Paul is a diamond geezer. Like, I love him to pieces. Came over.
Our first episode too. He was on our first.
Yeah, exactly. Ex-Brit
Man.
came over.
Ex-Brit.
Like we went out, me, him, and my partner. We went to the pub. We come to see the animals. Went to the pub. We had a dinner. It was lovely having him. But he started connecting more of the animals to the faces, to the names for me a little bit more.
And so you describe him as a right geezer.
He's a diamond geezer. He's a top
He's a
fella.
Diamond geezer.
Diamond geezer.
He's such a good guy. Honestly, I love him to pieces.
Fantastic. Great guy.
Yeah. He's a ripping bloke.
Yeah. As you guys would say, exactly.
Dude, these terms are just going right over my head, dude.
He's a ripping bloke. But honestly, like, you guys have started to come out with, let's be honest, with the limited animals that you guys have access to. You guys are now starting to produce some real heat, and there's animals that have really been catching my eye. I have a great relationship with Jason Allen. We talk a lot. I would say that's who I communicate with most. And like, he helped me out with a few bits with my recent incubator, because I built a new incubator last year, and he saw me post it on my story, and he reached out and said, I've got one that's pretty similar, sent me a video and sent me bits and pieces, because I hadn't built one that big before. And yeah, it's the animals that are coming out of Oz now are cracking, mate. Like, you guys you got the blue stuff, the speckly stuff, the mustard stuff, the melanism. You guys are really, again, with the limited resources that you guys have, it's gonna explode, mate.
Oh, yeah, like, stop it.
Look at these animals. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know I sent you like a whole dump of some of the animals that caught my eye, but look, do you know what I mean? Look at that stuff. And
yeah, and like, I think these things they've existed for a long time here. It's just that we weren't posting them. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but they're just not hitting social media. I think that's probably been a little bit of a change. Take that off, Joe. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
Dan, I had to pull this up because I really think that these animals that you post them a fair bit, but they do not get all of the accolades that they deserve. They are ridiculous. Like, on a global scale, those neonates are ridiculous. Anyway.
The stuff that you're producing is phenomenal. And when I say the limited resources, obviously you guys have got these native, right? Like, up in Cape York Peninsula, etc. Like, you don't have that in the UK, you don't have that in the US, but you guys are quite limited completely limited to the designer stuff. Like, for me, if I really want it and I want to pay the money and the import fees, I can get that over. You guys don't have that access. So to create what you're creating with the stuff that you guys had,
we're working in a phone box. As I say,
and also we're a box where no one wants to get rid of their really high quality stuff either. So it's like, like, I've been trying pretty solidly for the last probably 18 months or so to get my hands on some high quality animals, and I have done so through like loans with really close friends, and hopefully I can produce some of my own high quality animals this year. But that's it's tricky, man. It's tricky.
Yeah, the first red neonate I bought was off a breeder called Kyle Brown. That was a 2 or 3 year process.
Yeah,
and he sold one. He sold one out of the clutch, and I happened to purchase that one, and then he sold a second one a bit later on, and that was it.
I think that's natural, though. It's human nature. Like, for me, I'm the only one to have that freight train animal and that sickness animal in the UK, right? And this year may be their first year's breeding. So once they breed, if they go, and I'm not going to count chickens and all that stuff, but if it was to work out, I'd gladly say nothing's going to be for sale. I want to hold those back. I want to see them change. I want to, further my project. So with you guys being at the point that you are, I understand why people are keeping stuff. And It's
Yeah.
not gatekeeping at that point.
No,
It's
you can't
you're just
replace them.
working with it. Yeah, exactly.
You can't get another
Literally.
one. They're gone.
Yeah.
We're a literal arc, and so I think what I'm trying to do is trying to build up enough numbers so that we can produce 5 or 6 clutches every
And then
year,
you can
and
start sending them
then
out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but the reality is, I probably need a collection of 50 animals here, minimum.
And you must have it a lot, because I do. People always messaging me, when are you breeding that sickness animal? When are you breeding that freight train animal? Can I be on the list? Can I do? And I'm like, guys, I'm not even going to sell that if that happens. So I'll get back to you if it ever does happen. But if it does,
Yeah.
Calm down, all right?
Calm down.
Nothing's going anywhere.
Yeah, it must be the same for you guys. If you guys are breeding, whoever is breeding the red neonate stuff, you must get messaged all the time. Is anything available? Are you going to?
Well, I think too, there's plans, and then there's reality.
Absolutely.
I can put down on paper all of the pairs I want to do, but man, there's so many variables. There's compatibility variables. There's age-related variables. You got all sorts of. It's a whole gambit of things, and so for that one adult neonate that you've got that raised to adulthood, the attrition on that is insane. How many times I remember I had my first clutch. There was 9 babies. There were 8 males in that bloody clutch and 1 female.
Can you send me?
Yeah,
Bro.
and that was it. That was in 2013. That female got to 5 years old, 6 years old. I started to cool her down. She had a massive prolapse and died when I was away. So I was away. She had a massive prolapse.
Dude, that sucks, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're all sitting on this whole range of stories that the average punter doesn't understand.
Dude, that's like the most chondro story I've ever heard, I think.
Man,
I mean,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. For the limited stuff that you guys have. And then I've never even heard something like that happen here. For 1 female out of a clutch of almost 10, and then you raise it up and get to the finish line, and then boom, like that's
and she was perfect, and she was she was
Oh,
perfect.
I bet she was amazing too.
She was, and then she happened to. She never prolapsed. She prolapsed when I was away. I came home. It was this big, dry, bloody prolapse hanging out.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
And then out of all of those animals, I've got 1 animal left. And at some point in time, maybe 2 years ago, he got out, and he went out the window here. He went out the window, and he was gone. And for like a month later, at 3 o'clock in the morning, my dogs are barking. My dogs are barking, and I come out, and there he is cruising through the bush. I pick him up. I'm like, put him back in his enclosure.
Yeah, throw him right in the female's enclosure. Get back to work.
No, well, it gets better. So I put him back in the enclosure. And maybe 2 years later, here's the animal I send over to Darren's house and size that clutch of those red neonates that I posted on my Instagram.
Wow.
So,
it's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending, but it's like, okay, I had 9 babies, 1 female,
luck.
she dies.
Hell.
All the other males have died.
Right?
He escapes. I get him back. I ship him to a mate's house, and and he breeds.
You know why? Because he went through it. He came from the streets. I'm telling you, the more you put these chondros through, the better they will breed.
Seriously.
I'm telling you, like the more stress you put them through, they realize something clicks in their head, and they say, all right, you know what? Maybe I do need to breed. And it works.
You should clip that story, right? And
I know, right? Yeah, it's a very good story.
For every new person that thinks that they can breed green trees like that, they need to hear that story, because, geez, that is the most chondro story of all chondro stories I have ever heard.
That was amazing.
And I had 2 pairs to start with. and that was it.
Damn.
Poor guy, man.
And it was nuts. But anyway, that's
Dan,
what happens, you know.
Can you please grab that melanistic mustard male, put him in a bag, shake him up,
Nah.
let him outside for the night, bring him
Right.
back in. I don't know what else you need to do.
And then send him to Joe on loan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll make something work.
That's the that's the funny thing too. So that joint pairing was with Darren. He lives 20 minutes from my house. So, this whole we've been doing some joint pairings, and those males come out of the tub into the female's enclosure and start locking up straight away.
Yeah. All right. Put him through the ringer.
Yeah.
I've got Aquaberry here. He's 6 years old and just will not breed. Just it shows zero interest. I've seen him cuddle with a female one time 3 years ago, and I've never seen him do anything other than that. So
it's so frustrating. It is so
Yeah.
frustrating. And that's just the luck of the draw, isn't it? If you've only got a couple of pairs of snakes, and in Australia, that's pretty common. Man,
Yeah.
and then you do crazy shit like you start posting all over Instagram. Here's the pairing I'm going to do next year.
Yeah.
And I want to take people on a list. And I'm going to sit there thinking, what the heck are you doing? Like, this is crazy. There's plans and there's reality, and they're not matching right now.
If it's a first time pairing and you really want it to go, you should not post it on Instagram.
No way.
Alex taught me that this week. Yeah, he's looking at me.
Right.
So I stopped doing that because Malcolm told me to stop doing it at one point, and he was like, it's just bad luck, right? Just stop doing it. So I stopped it for ages. And then this time, there's a specific male I've been wanting to breed for a long time, and he may or may not have got the job done. Anyway, so I put a post up on Instagram, and luckily not many people saw it. And Alex was like, "What are you doing? Take it down." And I was like, "Yeah, you're not wrong, Alex. I'm just going to take it down. You never know how these things are going to go."
Hey, because you jinx it. It's not about whether it took or not, or you get more locks. It's the fact that you jinx it whenever you post it online. And if you had already gotten that pairing in the past, then it's whatever. Because I'll post top cheddar pairings, but I've gotten 2 top cheddar clutches, so it's not a massive deal. I feel like it's the curse is broken after the first clutch.
And there's definitely something with once they get into a rhythm of breeding. That second year, the third year seems to be much more predictable.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Joe, do you have any pairings or anything? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so this female just here behind me, she's like a pretty generic Aussie Aru mix thing, but she gave me 14 good eggs that all hatched last year. And I've paired her to this is a Darren Ford mustard male up here. It's a yellow neonate, but I paired it to actually Sal. That last animal that you sent in that group chat is the male that I paired with her last year and gave me a good clutch of eggs. And the babies all came out pretty damn good. But Aaron Hopper has this melanistic female, which you also sent in that group chat. She's pretty heavily melanistic for an Aussie thing. She's laid 3 clutches of eggs that have all died pretty soon after incubation with this mustard male. And we're starting to think it's probably a compatibility issue because this mustard male is the father of this female just here. So we know that he's good, and we know that my male's good. So we thought, fuck it, this year, let's swap our males. And see if we can, because that female that Aaron's got is getting pretty long in the tooth now. And, there's not, maybe not going to be.
Insane. Honestly, from here, it looks like a yellow neonate still. Like that thing.
Oh, that mustard. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, here, let me get it down. I can do that. But yeah, I'm hopeful.
Oh, you've opened the door, Sal. You've opened the door. Now he's gonna. Now he's gonna get his snakes.
Here we go. It's become a show and tell.
There he is.
I've just given away my height too. I've got to use a fucking step.
and he's wearing a grass is greener t-shirt as well. Just
it also looks like he's wearing his underwear or something too. Those shorts are so damn short.
That thing's lovely, man.
That's very nice.
The eyes. I love when the eyes are like that. That
Dan,
thing is
see what I was
insane.
telling you about that sort of dorsal zipper, that dorsal
Yeah.
pattern? It's
Yeah.
pretty faint,
Yeah.
but in a certain light, you can really.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah.
In my mind, they're probably as close to pure uterensis as you can get in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very nice. Very nice looking animal.
What's so interesting about those mustard that when you look in the lineage, there was like this interesting divergence. Like Darren produced these super blue and melanistic animals, but the mustards came from the same pairings, from the same lineage.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. And I'm in my head, I've been thinking, okay, is this mustard some kind of I don't know what the word would be, like some kind
Like
of opposite gene to a blue or something. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that mustard kind of look over here in the US.
Well, she's
I've
big.
seen yellow, but I haven't seen like that specific mustard color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think is it Sony? I think he's
Sony
got
Rod,
some.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
His
He
look
has.
like that.
Yeah.
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 And so does
Yeah.
Carly. Carly's got one, hasn't she? A couple.
Yeah, I think she does.
I
Yeah.
don't know
She
where
might
she got
have
them
something
from.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Sony's got a lot of mustards, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely interesting. I'm super interested to see what happens with this. I guess this outcross.
Right.
Really interested. Of course,
A lot of time, like phenotypes like that might skip a generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, I've been tempted to put him over his daughter here, who is outcrossed to an Aussie female, and see if I could replicate it. But I don't know. She could probably go this year, but I think I'm gonna leave her until next year and I don't know, try something else. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
I was
Well,
just sort
I
of
find it
wondering
interesting
if-
too. Yes, Dan.
Oh no, I was just wondering if that whole mustard thing is some kind of recessive
inheritable
kind
trait.
of trait. Yeah, recessive sort of thing. Like because there have been mustard to mustard pairings, and a large majority of those babies have turned out mustard, both red and yellow babies.
Well,
Okay.
that's all I was going to say. Is it's interesting that both red and yellow babies turn into like something that looks pretty similar.
Yeah, I've got a
you know-
really yellow mustard here that's a red. It's just, and he just glows. I never got him
There's-
out actually when you were here, Joe. I didn't,
Mate,
for some reason.
I was overwhelmed. I didn't sleep that night.
Go on, Dan. You can't tease us like that, brother.
Yeah,
Go
come
on.
on.
All right, sure.
You know, I did have an interesting question, and I think it's probably something that you guys could answer rather than us. I'll let Dan show this thing off before I get down this tangent, but
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice looking animal.
That is very, very nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
God, Dan, you got some heat over there, brother.
Yeah, that's a red neonate. That one.
Wow.
Jesus.
The
That's the
Darren
animal
Ford.
I call Clockwork Orange.
That's
Mate,
a good one.
The Darren Ford representation in Dan's collection is strong. There
Yeah,
are
yeah.
some serious Darren Ford animals over there at the moment. But I wanted to ask about like the compatibility between like an extreme phenotype yellow neonate and an extreme phenotype red neonate. If there is any compatibility issues there, like if you do a pairing like that, if you do you know what I'm trying to say? Like if you get two extreme reds, they're likely to give off more extreme reds. But if you get an extreme yellow and an extreme red, do you still have a higher propensity towards producing extreme animals?
Do you mean an extreme looking neonate or an extreme looking adult?
I don't know either.
I would say
guess.
adult.
Adult, probably. Yeah.
Well, I think the theory goes that, you breed extreme to extreme and you produce extreme animals. I don't know I don't think it matters if they're red or yellow. I think it's easier to get extreme animals from reds than it is yellows. But obviously you still can get extreme animals from yellows. It's been done plenty of times. I think that you should just breed as extreme as you can get, as deep as your pockets will go, and as much as you're able to.
Yeah, and I think I've heard Patrick also say previously on a podcast, and when I spoke to him, that he also says that he thinks that the visual characteristics of like extreme looking neonates, like animals that that looked really nice as neonates, produce nice looking neonates. So
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
extreme dark reds will produce the extreme dark reds, etc. So I don't know how much they've mixed those and what's been proven out of that. You know, if you mix a really nice extreme red to a really nice extreme yellow neonate, do you get a mixed bag of each? You know, is there variation, more variation? Is there less? I don't know, but that's definitely what Patrick says.
Probably Mark's well placed with some of his yellow stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some really nice yellow stuff.
I think the actual genetics, how long the lineage is, has a lot to do with it. Even if it is a green animal, if it's got 5 generations of crazy animals, but that parent is green, you have a much higher chance of producing a crazy animal from that.
Yep, and you know, like, we all know that the variation is crazy. I've been posting a lot of animals recently, and I've got 2 sisters that it's their first year this year, Blue Lagoon and Green Lagoon. They both have serious genetics, but one is a true blue to look at visually, and the other one has some nice blue blotches and, you know, your average blue on the animal. But you can see, and they're literally caged side by side, and you can see the difference completely. So, you know, a greener animal, but that is packed with the right lineage, if bred to the right animal, can really throw out some extreme stuff. We've all seen it. Look, it doesn't happen day in, day out. But we've definitely seen 2 green animals throw out some extreme looking neonates, which then turn into extreme looking phenotype adults.
And I've always wondered about that too. In the early days, I wonder if they were, of course, you know, cross subspecies hybridization as well. You know, and because you hybridize, you take a Biak and you know, pure Biak, and you cross it to a pure Cyclops or something, you know, and with that hybridization, you do get these extreme animals. I think is that fairly well known. I think that hybridization is what causes the extreme
phenotypes.
I think it's definitely fair to say that. Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say that. You do see some like Aru Biak, like that mix. I'm not a fan of Aru. Don't shoot me, right? It's my least favorite locality. I don't like the
My whole
body shape.
collection's built on Aru.
Yeah, well, pure Aru. So far, you guys are different. Yeah, you guys are different, right?
So look, we're going to backpedal. Watch him start backpedaling.
I'm not even going to backpedal, right? I'm just going to say I don't like the sausage body
I've always
shape.
been called different.
Yeah, I don't like the head shape. Your stuff has been line bred for God knows how many years, right? But when you mix a standard import Aru to import Biak, I have seen maybe a handful. I've seen a handful of animals with an extreme phenotype where I've been like, wow, what is that? And they're like, it's Aru Biak. I'm like, no way. It looks like a designer that's been line bred for fucking 20 years. But then a large majority, I can't stand the phenotype. They look like green sausages, no markings, some blue up the sides if you're lucky. It's just not what I'm into.
Damn, roast it. Here we go. Roast it.
Sal just had a list. I don't like the body. I don't like the head.
I know, right?
Come on.
God, go ahead, Sal. What else don't you work?
It is a nice looking snake.
Let us know what type of people you don't like either.
It is not. This is not people thing, all right? Okay. This is it is honestly, yeah, it is a lovely looking snake. But what I'm talking about is the hybridization. Yes, I think it will have extreme phenotypes that come out when you start hybriding subspecies of an animal, right?
Yeah, and you know, like that Aru Biak pairing, people always use that, and there's always like 15 neos from an Aru Biak clutch, and you see the one neo that looks really nice, and then there's 14 others that are green sausages. Yeah, and it's like, dude, you know, it's like let's see the rest of the clutch, because the Aru does kind of wash it out a little bit, like
it's
takes
interesting
over the designer.
From what I've seen of some of the El Zulich stuff. I think they were like, he did an Aru Biak And then he did a sibling to sibling Arubiak, and that seems to have then pushed.
I think that's when you start doing those second generation F1 pairings, if you want to call them. That's when you start getting some real extremes. And
Yeah.
only reason I'm saying this is because I remember ages ago when I met Malcolm, I saw an Arubiak that Socrates had bred, right? And it was extreme, and I was like, "What is that?" And I looked at it, and it was Arubiak, and I was like, "Malk, I want to make some of those." And he was like, "No, you don't." He was like, "I made those for years." He was like, "Let me show you a whole photo collection of the ones that don't look like that." And I was like, "Okay." But that's when he explained to me, he was like, if I was to then breed them back together, I'd probably get some real extremes on the next generation, which he never carried out. But yeah, it's a very interesting mix, those two, definitely.
Yeah, they seem to be used as good outcross mixes, possibly, hey?
Yeah,
I don't
know.
The thing is, we can't get pure Biak here. Like it's a pure Biak itself. There are some in Australia. There are a few, and they're just like, they're gold.
Literally.
Have you got? Is there people out there with red neo Biaks out there?
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Few and far between, I'm guessing.
$10,000 animal.
Yeah.
Just a Biak?
Yeah.
Wow.
A red Biak. You'd probably like, but again, people wouldn't
pure
sell
one.
it.
Yeah,
Someone wouldn't. No one would
pure
sell
one that's probably smuggled into the country at some point in time. Very, very expensive.
10,000 US. So that's, 10,000 Oz. So that's probably 5,000-6,000 pounds for a Biak.
Yeah.
Wow.
7,000 USD probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I know, right? That's like blowing my mind right now.
And to be honest, people would probably pay more.
Yeah.
And then you got Alex picking them up on Craigslist for $50.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Hey, 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nuts. You know, for a little while there, I was even sort of entertaining this crazy idea of, could we import semen?
Yeah, right.
And artificially
to be honest,
inseminate.
it's almost half tempting to kind of be like, could we smuggle them in? Like maybe, who knows? It's
not worth it.
Australia doesn't even let you bring a loaf of bread in, mate. Let alone snake sperm.
Straight to jail.
Yeah,
straight to jail.
It would be a jail time.
All right. Well,
and you'd lose your collection, everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll figure it out.
Do you guys ever just step back and go, fuck, we're deep in this, and it's so niche, and 99.9% of people would just walk straight past this conversation. You know what I mean? Like the average person would just go, what the fuck? We are like hyper niche already inside a community. It's weird, man. Sometimes I look at it, like I'll talk to friends that are outside reptiles and be like, yeah, man, I'm the freak here. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely weird. Like people come into my house and them not realizing that these snakes are worth more than the house.
Yeah.
And so it's like they just see snakes or whatever, and nobody really understands unless I explain it to them or unless they know to begin with. But yeah, it's kind of cool though. I kind of like it, just going about life, just like nobody else does what I do. So
yeah, I think people are quick to first think like one of my lead vets, he's Australian. He just come back a couple of days ago, and he's a character anyway as it is. But when I first got there, he was like, "Oh my god, like so happy to have you here, like etc." He was like, once I told him about the snakes, right? I remember him saying to me, he was like, "I thought you was a normal bloke with a good job." And these are his words. He's like, "I thought you was a normal bloke with a good job." He was like, "But you are a freak." He was like, "You got all those snakes in your house." I'm like, "Yeah." And he comes round for dinner once in a while, and he walks in and he looks at the room. He's like, "I just don't get it." He was like, "I really just don't get it." But and I get that a lot, and you lot must get that. I don't know, you must get it here and there, but
100%.
They just don't get it. Our niche is so small. It's like, like you got dog breeders. That's not a small niche. Green tree pythons is a tiny little niche.
Man, I don't get people not getting it though. You know, like everyone's got like their thing. Like that
Yep.
guy who doesn't get it, like didn't he skateboard as a kid or collect Pokemon cards or like something? Like doesn't he have a hobby?
Yeah.
And I just you know, like my dad collects guns. Like it's not my thing, but I get it. You know.
He does in Texas.
So yeah, I know. Of course he does, right? Yeah.
That'll be you, Sal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be Sal.
Guys, I'd love to ask you guys a question if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
What's the community like in Oz? Because US to me was the most open arm, accepting, helpful, massive community. Over here, very small. People are very private. People don't want you coming around their house. People don't want you to do. I can't get a video tour if I paid someone for my
No.
YouTube over here. That's why people are like, oh, you post stuff after Texas, but then you go quiet. I'm like, I have begged people to go and see their collection to video it, and everyone, doors are closed. The communities, I don't want to knock it because it's my community, but it's not very open arms. It's not open doored. You know, what is it like for you guys?
I would
Dan,
say
you've been around for
fundamental.
longer.
I'd say fundamentally it's similar. I don't, because of the cost of them, and there have been, you've probably heard the other podcast where Dan from Condro Boz, his dad got held at
Yeah, they got robbed.
gunpoint, and all that
Got
sort of
robbed
stuff.
twice.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
Wow.
there's a lot of that. I think it's actually probably more of a reflection of our cultures, our sort of English sort of way of, we're quite private, I think. Where Americans love to just stick stuff all over social media, and I think they love it. They love it. They don't understand, like, hey, if you go to an event and you take photographs of people, you got to get like a consent form that those people are going to be photographed. Americans are like, how many photographs? Stick me in front of every photograph, and that's just a cultural thing. I think that it is changing, though. I think you can see with, the amount of stuff I think people are putting on their Instagram now. I think Instagram has probably helped because it's a one-way conversation in some ways.
Totally.
It's not,
Totally.
you're not putting yourself out there on Facebook to get smashed by 1,000 different people. It's a bit more of, hey, here's my snake. You're not going to see me in a bikini holding a snake, but this is, you can sort of curate what you're going to show and how you're going to present it.
You can tailor it to how you want to put forward.
Yeah, and it sort of comes back to that other conversation we're having. It's not just your collection, but it's also about, there's a really important marketing component of it. Because at the end of the day, I do want to sell some snakes because I want to buy more enclosures. I want to, I've got a bit of a rule that I won't dip into my personal family's budget to buy reptiles. So the reptiles have to fund themselves. Yeah. And that's just the way I do it.
Don't get a reef tank.
No. So I want to be able to, I want to be able to sell animals, and I want to be able to sell them to, I used to sell them off our equivalent of Craigslist, which is Gumtree. And yeah, and if you do that, you open yourself up to a whole range of people, whole different sets of experiences. It's much more painful. This way, in many ways, it's much better because you've got people who are serious. They've been following you. They know the sort of animals you got. You can put your hashtag of the animal that collects all the photos, of that animal over time, all that cool stuff. So I think it's changing. It's becoming much more open. And I think that's led mostly by what's happened in the US, for like podcasts like this one, of course, Trap Talk, and before that, Unfiltered, those sort of podcasts, I remember watching them religiously because like, wow, like Greg Maxwell's on there and you just.
Same as me. I was just glued to him and in the beginning. And it felt surreal meeting those people you watch.
I would say too that I think our community is challenged massively geographically. Our population, just our number of green python keepers is minuscule compared to at least the States. And then, our country is about as big as the United States, and we're so far spread across it. Like I visited Dan last week. It's like a 5-hour drive.
Wow.
It's just, it's a challenge. just to
Yeah, and we're
actually
close.
we're close. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're close. Yeah, so I think that adds to the challenge, and I would say maybe our community is probably somewhere in between the UK and the US, maybe a bit closer towards the UK thing. A lot of people are very reserved and private in what they share and what they do.
Yeah.
But I think for whatever reason, I think last year I was when I was doing my breedings, which was like the first time I actually really had good success. I was so excited, and I think there was so many posts of pairings and neonates and all this sort of stuff. I don't know if you've noticed this year, Dan, but I think things seem a bit slower in the Australian community this year. I'm seeing a few, like Dan
I
Boz
think
is posting heaps of stuff, which is awesome, but we're
I
not seeing
think
so much
people
this year.
I think people are probably a bit more reserved, I think, of
Yeah.
what they're posting. I know for me,
Yeah.
I've taken a decision that I won't post anything until I've got neonates popping out of the egg, and then I'll do a big post of the whole process,
Yeah.
because I've got things going on that if they come off, they're going to be super exciting for me. But if they don't, I'm going to be super devastated, and I don't want
You have
I
to
don't
tell
want to share
everyone.
that. Yeah, I don't want to share that with everyone
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I feel that.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
that makes sense.
But some of the what Joe wanted to do with this podcast was exactly what you're saying, Sal, was to get people on who, and I think Joe, we tried really hard to get people who are experienced and those who are less experienced or have a different experience, and trying to get a real range of people and personalities on this podcast to kind
we've
of
been very deliberate
democratize
in,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely very deliberate in who we've picked for the podcast.
And it's not all the best guys and the flashiest guys who have got the biggest Instagrams. It's trying to find stories, of individuals who not necessarily, like our last person we had on, Luke. He maternally incubated an Australian green tree python clutch at the bottom of his enclosure under leaf litter,
covered in leaf litter.
and he
Yeah,
didn't realize she was on. He didn't even realize she was on eggs until a couple of days into the process, and he hatched a great clutch.
Yeah, he
So it's
thought he
that
had
kind of
8
stuff,
eggs and hatched out 14. So sick, man. So sick.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
awesome.
It is awesome. Well, boys, we've hit an hour and a half. I'm pretty happy to probably round things out shortly. What do you guys think? Anything pressing you wanted to get off your chest? I mean, we could talk for hours, literally, but
we could talk for hours. This, we're only just kicking off. We're only kicking off.
yeah.
I don't know, Sal. You wanna flex on him real quick before we go? Want to pour out a nice snake?
I
Go
think
on.
so. He doesn't want to.
I don't want to get
It's nighttime there.
I don't want to get lit up, and B, I've just fed every single snake about 10 minutes ago. And I'll tell you a quick story. This snake lunged out, bit the fucking tube, right? Got stuck, ripped the fucking air, because there's a hole right there. Fucking, I don't know what the hell went on. It just came out, grabbed it, and it was like swinging around it. Anyway, you can flex because I can get a neonate out, actually. I can get some neonates out behind me, but I'm not going to get an adult because they didn't get fed tonight. I get something out quickly. Go on, I'll go first because his stuff is just untouchable. So
Alex, did you say that because you want to show us some of your neonates or animals?
Of course he does. He loves it.
Because
I have one snake that I always like to pull out because it is like the cream of the crop. It is an amazing animal. And Sal knows exactly which one that is.
And please do that. Please do that, Alex.
I'll wait for Sal to show his, and then.
Yeah, wow.
Man, that's sick.
That's a beautiful animal.
Yeah. And as you guys are showing this, this is what I think spurs, the global community on, Alex, the thing you're going to show us is just like, okay, I sit here and question myself, will I ever produce an animal like that in my lifetime? And it's probably, the answer is probably no.
Probably not.
But it's
so. You never know.
Well,
you never know. I mean, it could be a freak.
It's
just
true.
Pop out of there.
But it's so cool to see, what the possibilities are. And I think that's so awesome.
I'm going to get out one more without dying.
Go ahead.
I'm definitely not going to get any of the blue adults out because I will get fried.
Oh, damn.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful.
This one
And
is
good to it's good to see that those garden stakes are universal.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This is a 2-year-old female.
Okay.
It's got a nice
That's lovely.
mill in her.
Do you think it'll stay pretty high yellow, Sal?
I'm hoping so. Its siblings are completely different. So basically, at the whole clutch, this one and okay, no, that didn't work. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Whoa.
Bust ups. Oh no.
Oh, there it goes.
And then it urinated all over him.
Shaft it
on. I'm getting everything. Anyway, so these
Good
two.
Good TV.
Anywho,
Good
just
TV.
covered in
So.
shit. Anyway,
Yeah, there
TV.
you go.
these two are the two highest yellow animals.
He's gonna get bit.
I'm
No,
gonna
Get
get
bit. Come on.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's nuts,
Wow.
man. That is nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it back because it's got a big mill in it. But yeah, carry on, Alex. Take
Good
over
idea.
my shit.
Okay.
My train wreck
Well,
of a show.
I will show you my very well behaved snake, for one, as you can see.
Oh,
So
Alex. That's nuts. Amazing.
yeah, that is, I named it Verde Draco. It is still unsexed.
Yeah, okay.
So don't know if it's a male or a female yet.
And how old is
Notice-
that, Alex?
This is about 1.5 years old. So
Yeah,
it's still
wow.
got it's still got some changing to do, but I like to show it off while it still looks like this.
Yeah.
So
What would your expectation be, Alex? Do you think that you just don't know, or you think it'll sort of just the black
I
along
think
the
that it-
front there will come down a bit?
I think that it is going to keep a lot of that black.
Yeah.
So from my experience, because Bill produced this animal,
Okay.
and from my experience from seeing Bill's stuff, the volume of the black really matters. Like if it's a deep black, then that tends to stay more than a lighter black. And
Sure.
in person, the black on this is like jet black.
Yeah.
So it's going to keep black. It's just a matter of how much. And I have a good feeling that majority of that black will stay.
Yeah, it's an incredible animal, honestly, and it's
Yeah.
the color of it. The lighting done it justice. That snake is blue.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
even in person, this thing is like, it's got a blue dorsal on it. I don't know if you can see it at all,
Yeah.
but the sides are like a teal kind of aquamarine, which generally that goes blue over time. So, but the neck pattern on that is just insane.
Yeah.
The
and
one
it just looks super healthy, super robust looking animal. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and very tame too, Sal.
Yeah.
Mine, listen,
Relaxed.
it's 12 o'clock at night. He's just eating. What do you want? I'm being shit for you guys, all right?
I was gonna say.
You can't get away without showing off. If you guys have got time in the next 2 minutes, you gotta get gas out, Alex. Surely.
Man, it's, to be honest, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
Yeah,
it's,
we can hear you.
it's in the other room. I don't feel like really getting him out right now.
I think that needs to go on the record, because I've seen you on a few podcasts, Alex, and you tend to jump at a chance to get them out. So
I know. I know. I probably should. I mean, do you want me to?
You
Okay,
go on.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
they
right,
do.
all right.
Yes, the
Okay,
viewers
give me
want it.
a minute. Give me a minute. And after that, I gotta go.
Yeah, we
So-
have to
Yeah.
go too. We
Yeah.
got to go. I got to dig holes.
I will not be showing off my little Aru yellow neonates after that.
Yeah, it's. I think we look at you guys, Sal. We look at, well, it's all aspirational for us, and I think there's enough in the country, probably in Australia, for there to be animals like that, like what you're showing off. But I think to manage everyone's expectations, the reality of how widespread they're going to be is really challenging.
I think it's going to take a very long time.
It's going to take a long time.
Until everyone's got one of those in their collection.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to see, but you can see
Yeah.
his blue and black and the green scales that he has on there.
Yeah. It's cool. And it's unfortunate that the cameras are washing him all out.
Yeah,
We've got-
it is. And I think he's in shed too. So
We're gonna give your Instagram a plug so people can go and have a look.
For sure.
yeah,
Man,
for sure.
Those those green diamonds are like
They're
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
vivid.
Yeah, you can see his body color compared to the green diamonds, so it's
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
kind of get an idea
I
what it
think
looks like.
I think the green diamonds. If you start getting green diamonds first, I think that's a good sign that the rest of the
Yeah,
snake will follow a very different color.
yeah.
Interesting.
But that neck is a very calico kind of neck.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna put him
Epic.
back.
For sure. Man, good podcast. I've enjoyed it. I guess yeah, we can wrap things up there. Sal, thanks so much for your time. And obviously I'll put the links in the show notes, but if people are trying to find you, whereabouts have they got to go?
Cryptic Chondros on majority of the time, mainly on Instagram, YouTube as well, with some collections that I do yearly. That when I go over to Texas, they're probably the best places to find me. And I want to say a
Yeah.
big thank you to both of you guys for having me.
Oh, for sure.
It's been amazing. I wish we had more time to do it again. Maybe we can come back again in the future. Maybe
Yeah,
at
I
a different timing, so I can get some stuff out, and Alex can struggle.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me. Honestly,
Thanks, Sal. Our pleasure, mate. And Alex, if people are trying to find you, where can they go?
You can go to Amazing Arboreals on Instagram. That's the best place to find me. I'm on Facebook, but it's just my regular name, Alex Warren. But the best place to contact me is Amazing Arboreals on Instagram. Also, you can see my collection and everything I post on there. So, yeah, and I appreciate you guys having me on. It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a bunch, fellas. And Dan, where are you?
You can catch me on Instagram, red_earth_reptiles. Come and check out my collection and see what happens in the future. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And as always, everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed the content, please feel free to like, follow, and subscribe. I am on Instagram at joemac.uthl. And cheers, fellas.
All right. Thanks, guys.